In this in this video, we're going to be talking about how to operationalize and measure variables. And how we operationalize and measure variables is really an important kind of issue uh, to science in general. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot about this particular table, except to point it out so that you have or know how to find it and where to find it. We're looking at a variety of conceptual variables or constructs in our left column and operational definitions or operational definitions in our right two columns. Those are how we measure each of those things. So when we're thinking about studying gratitude towards a partner, for example, we need to remember that there are multiple ways of measuring that and make sure that we are measuring our construct in a way that makes sense to us. So let's look at two different maps. In this left map, we're looking at depression throughout the country. And you can see that depression, seems to be more prevalent in the Midwest. Pennsylvania actually doesn't show up here. And here is a map from the CDC looking at depression. It actually looks like, in this map, it looks like there's somewhat more depression in some parts of the mid-Atlantic area, and certainly up through the Appalachian area. And in my part of the state, I'm in Clarion, we're talking about 10% of the population would be defined as depressed or diagnosed as depressed. Now, think about which map you like better. There are some advantages to the map on the left in that it is easy to read, but there's a whole lot more information in the map on the right. And as a result, is much more useful to us. Let's talk about measurement styles. There are 4 levels of measurement. Nominal, where we're just categorizing our variables like cats and dogs. Ordinal, where we're both categorizing and ranking. So first, second, third, fourth in a race. Interval, where we have known equal intervals, for example, temperature. And ratio, where there's a true or meaningful 0. So neither centigrade or Fahrenheit are ratio scales, but Kelvin is, because there's a true meaningful 0. Now, nominal data is categorical. It's either this or this. These 3, ordinal, interval, ratio, are all quantitative. They actually measure and assign numbers to different meaningful numbers to different kinds of data. So think about how you might measure coffee consumption as a categorical variable. You might, for example, look at Egyptian or Guatemalan, Colombian kinds of coffees, and which, does someone prefer. As a quantitative variable, you might look at the amount that someone consumed in a day. Now, there are 3 common types of measurements: self-report, observational, and physiological. Self-report is what we say. Observational is what we see. And physiological is some sort of physiological measure, such as blood pressure or heart rate. When we are studying conceptual variables, first we want to define our construct, maybe coffee consumption or depression and bipolar detection, as in this article that I'm pointing to. We want to create an operational definition for our construct. So how much coffee is consumed in a day? And then think about, is your measure consistent with the other operationalizations of the construct? And we're going to talk more about this later, particularly when we're talking about validity. So 3 kinds of, I want you to be playing with these kinds of operationalizations over the course of this unit. And we're going to be using the ideas here in the next 2 videos. So imagine you're interested in studying the political orientation of a sample of students. Think about 3 different operationalizations for these variables: self-report, observational, and physiological. Think about what scale of measurement each uses. So self-report might be, just asking people, who did you vote for? Observational might be watching someone as they are or going to a debate, and when do they clap? For what speakers are they clapping? And physiological, looking at, for example, blood pressure changes across those. So think about your own operationalizations of each of these 3. Write them down and have them available for the next videos. And I'll see you then. Take care.